Oh, Singapore is at risk of losing its top spot as the world's biggest exporter of ornamental fish. Industry players told Channel News Asia that the sector is at a crossroads and fish farmers must innovate if they want to stay afloat. Imelda Saad has this story in this week's Spotlight segment.
This bustling metropolis is also the world's largest exporter of ornamental fish. But there's been a fall in export figures in recent years, from $80.3 million in 2010 to $70.6 million last year, a drop of 12% over 3 years. Figures, though, show that the country's share of the global export market for ornamental fish has been relatively stable, between 16% and 22% over a 10-year period. But fish farmers say the global competition is closing in, with the likes of Vietnam, Sri Lanka and even Israel. They also point to multiple challenges. The sector has been experiencing a decline since the 2008 global financial crisis, crippling demand from traditional sources like Europe and the US. And in a country where land is a prized commodity, farms are giving way to development.
Now, this is a quiet part of Singapore, just a stone's throw away from the Sengkang neighborhood. Now, the stories that we're hearing from this area is that this used to be a thriving place for ornamental fish farmers, but today there's only a handful of active businesses here. Now, let me just show you this area you see behind me. There used to be about 5 to 6 ornamental fish farms here, but they've since either moved out or closed down to make way for development.
Much of the land here at Seletar Farmway just off Jalan Kayu was acquired for Singapore's aerospace hub development, resulting in fish farms having to move out. This farm, which has been operating for about 20 years, has definitely seen better days. Its owner tells us she's holding on to just one customer in Switzerland as she waits for her lease to run out.
Of course, we feel heartache and pain, but we have no choice just because the place is not ours, it doesn't belong to us, it's on a lease basis. So we just have to accept what is given. So just have to close it slowly, close our business since we can't do anything with the lease.
Authorities have reclustered the fish farmers at this area in Sembawang. But farmers tell us that setting up a farm is costly, so some choose to simply call it a day.
Now, we're here at Chencharu Link. This area was opened up in 2010 to make way for the fish farms, which shifted from Jalan Kayu. Now, there are about 6 fish farms here, and each farmer had forked out about $1.5 million just to start a fish farm again from scratch. And just talking to some of them, you'd hear stories of contrasting fortunes, with some of them saying that they're struggling, while others saying that their business is actually doing quite okay.
This 73-year-old fish farmer, who's been in the business for 50 years, says he lost half of his customers after he moved to his new premises because he wasn't able to meet orders during the transition. He says business has been slow despite transforming his operations and even investing $100,000 in a new water recycling system. But another fish farm just down the road says business has been steady thanks to improvements in processes and packing technology. Its owner concedes, though, that it's not easy for small exporters to compete. The Industries Association says business transformation is critical to keep fish farmers afloat.
Fish farming in Singapore has entered into a junction that you need to transform the industry to a high-tech industry. I think you cannot remain as in the past, in a very primitive way of doing production or exporting fish. You have to transform the industry to a different platform, which is high-tech or middle high-tech, as compared to in the past what we are doing. So, transformation is always very painful. It's very painful. Some of the farmer or some of the exporter might be able to cope up, but some of them might not be able to cope it up.
Jianhu Corporation has bucked the trend. This public-listed company has invested in technology, even setting up an in-house research laboratory in 2008. It's developed its own automated filtration system, which has improved the productivity of its workers. To save space, the company is also in the midst of replacing its older tanks to these multi-tiered vertical fish farming.
In a multi-tier system, we are actually building condos upwards for fishes. So for example, per meter square of land, you could using the traditional method, you could house maybe a certain type of fish, 2,000 fishes per meter square. But now you can go up to almost 8,000, so about 4 times. Okay, plus the system that you are using, if it can maintain a good water quality, it can go up to 10 times, 8 times, depending on what type of fish you are culturing.
Now, this multi-tier system also cuts back on the manpower needed to take care of the fishes by 60 to 70%. Previously, it takes 1 man to take care of 100 fish tanks. Now, it's just 1 man taking care of 300 to 400 fish tanks a day.
Support also comes from the Agri-Food and Veterinary Authority.
AVA provides assistance to the farmers through conducting workshops, seminars and training courses. Through these seminars, we also impart kind of a certain practical knowledge for them to in areas such as fish disease diagnosis, and also improve on farm biosecurity measures. The other assistance that we provide to farmers are areas like R&Ds.
AVA also helps farmers meet stringent export requirements through a national surveillance program, where ornamental fishes here are subjected to routine sampling and inspection to make sure they're free from disease. Despite the challenges, there is optimism among some in the industry. Temasek Polytechnic offers aquaculture modules as part of its diploma in veterinary technology, and it's looking to expand its aquaculture facility.
We are looking to having a building for aquaculture. It's actually Center for Veterinary and Aquaculture Research and Training, and that's where we actually do a lot of the focus on the projects that fall with the industry, like in the areas of nutrition, in areas of feed formulation, to enhance the assimilation of the feed for better growth performance. We also look into fish genetics, selective breeding of fishes, so that you get the fishes with better quality traits, that can be faster growers with better health.
So, there may be hope yet for Singapore's ornamental fish industry as the sector looks to transform its business. But fish farmers say they also want authorities to offer longer-term land leases beyond just renewing every few years to give more certainty to farmers and provide more support in training as well as technology transfers.